Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen podcast. It's the start of August. I'm here with the lovely Zinnia. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin.
I'm BoredGamer, and we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about Alpha 3.17.2 being live. We're going to talk about the stipend or Millionaire gate. We're going to talk about Alpha 3.18, hopefully going into testing soon, and some cool other little bits and bobs that Cloud Imperium have been doing. And we're going to tell you about our opinions on said things. They're not necessarily representative of the opinions of most normal humans. They're just what we think and what we feel. And Zin typically has very different opinions from me because I'm a good person.
You have bad opinions.
Zin's a monster. Right, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with 3.17.2 being live, or do you want to start with stipend or Millionaire gate?
Well, let's start with 3.17.2 being live.
Okay,
because
that's good.
That in turn goes into the stipend.
We're explaining what stipends are to people that don't know what words are. Because
I had to Google that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always used to call them stipends.
I mean, you are dyslexic.
I am dyslexic, but I was like, well, I don't even though I had the word wrong, I still didn't know what either word meant. So, Alpha 3.17.2 has now gone live. For me, it is the best patch that Cloud Imperium have ever done. You could argue that 2.6.3 was best for sort of just general ship combat and arena commander stuff. And I'd sort of shake your hand and say, you've got a good point there. And that's well before Zin's time.
BZ.
BZ. Before Zin and I. You see? I can do grammar properly now as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, Alpha 3.17.2, what do you think of it, Zin? Best patch ever? Or waiting on bigger stuff, or it's actually pretty minor but accessible?
I think it's really good.
Yeah?
I think Siege of Horizon is... Horizon? How do they pronounce it?
Horizon, both are used interchangeably by different people.
Yeah. So that's really great. That's my sort of thing. I like FPS. I mean, I don't mind the ship fighting in Star Citizen, don't get me wrong, but I really like the FPS stuff.
How many times have you completed the Siege of Horizon, Zin, fully?
How many times have I completed it?
Yeah.
Once?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah. So, me and Zin have no footage yet of getting onto the admin platform or assaulting the barge at the end.
We got onto the admin platform, but we were technically in an out-of-bounds area.
That is a good point. We certainly have some footage of being on the admin platform. I lied, but not in any useful one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be playing Siege of Horizon. Yeah, I really love the Siege of Horizon as well. I love Xenothreat. Don't get me wrong, but Xenothreat to fleet battles is Siege of Horizon to FPS. It's absolutely fantastic, easily accessible, bit of fun for the game, and you should get involved with it. You should try it out. You probably want to try and team up with other people. You could do that when you're there. You can just sort of bundle around with other people without being in the same group as them, because you can see their hit markers.
But you can also just like turn up and go, hey, has anybody got a party I can join? I'm sure somebody will invite you.
Yeah, if you're in an elevator enough with like 12 other people, you probably get an invite as well.
Yeah,
all bumping around. But yeah, it's great. It's got problems. Star Citizen's still alpha, and there's still bugs and things going on. Zin got catapulted out of the world at one point by Pico last time he played.
It was out of the shuttle.
Out of the shuttle, yeah. He was the captain, and he just ejected you for not having a ticket. So, other amazing things here, doubling player counts. So, this seems to have worked really well without any noticeable problems. In fact, what I'd say is, paired with the network updates that they've done, even if they're just sort of like bodge fixes until we get persistent NT streaming and then server meshing after, the doubling player count and the networking updates together seem to have been absolutely fantastic for the game. Have you noticed any terrible problems? What do you think?
No. I mean, we have particularly good PCs for playing Star Citizen as it is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I've not noticed any issues with there being so many people on a server.
I mean, I wouldn't say our PCs are... I mean, they're high-end PCs. We've got 3080s. We haven't got the top-end cards.
No, and we don't even have the top-end CPUs anymore.
No. I mean, yours is my old one, which is still a pretty good CPU.
Yeah.
The 3950, I think.
I can't remember.
I've got 5950, with put an X on the end, and that's accurate. Yeah, they're pretty solid for Star Citizen. Good SSDs, MT drives. Yeah. So anyway, I'd start talking about hardware. I do want to upgrade my PC, but only because I want to play Star Citizen at 4K at 60 frames a second, and then record it at that.
Oh, you're getting all the footage then, yeah?
Well, realistically, I want us both to have that. So that is probably what donations and company funds will go into over the next couple of months, probably 2-3 months. Sort of towards the end of the year, I'd like to be able to go, bam, just before 4.0, let's have 4K sort of footage and rigs and the best possible footage we can have. Because we can always, if we want it at 1080p, if we want it at 1440p, we can always then thingamajig it, make it smaller, but we get better footage. That's the words. That's why you're the edity person.
That's why I know how to do all the things.
I do the pointing and the spending of money.
Yeah.
That's my job.
You're so good at the spending of money.
Thank you, appreciated. So, a load of other new features as well. All of stuff that me and Zin will want to do some gameplay of. And we've got those outposts with the AI reinforcements. I don't think people are making a big enough deal about the planetary nav mesh and the AI reinforcements, which just sort of turned up in this patch. They went, we've got some new locations. We've got those reclaimer derelicts in space and on the ground and like a little reclaimer settlement area that's populated. We've got those derelict outposts, those colonial outposts. They're not like the cool one we saw at CitizenCon last year, the one around Pyro, but they are sort of like bits and broken parts of one of those buildings. But we've got this amazing new AI tech. Now, AI are a bit dumb still, but they are at least active. They do react eventually, and they do attack you and stuff rather than be entirely broken.
There certainly is a step up from what they were.
Yes, which, yeah, as I said, entirely broken, entirely sort of neutered, but at least they react now, which is important for the Siege of Orison, but also important for these sort of areas and events and just general missions and these locations. But just the ability for a cutlass to come in, drop off some troops that run in, then run around a planet's surface and actually hunt down the player or just go back on patrol routes is essential for the game. And can you imagine, Sin, having like those underground bunkers or Jump Town, go there and you just get paid every 15 minutes for holding that structure against waves of enemies?
That would be good.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Because that would give something people to do. They'd be using ground vehicles. They'd be resupplying those areas. They'd be holding and knocking them down. It gives something potentially as well for players to fight over, because you go, actually, no, I want that. So there other players are assaulting while NPCs are constantly assaulting. I just think it makes it really quite fun and interesting. So I want to see stuff like that. And I can say that now without it being a pipe dream that those sort of things might exist in the near future. What about Xenothreats then? Do you think we're going to see Xenothreat again potentially this month or soon, or not until a bit later?
I'd like to. However, if I remember correctly, they did have a lot of issues with Xenothreat just running it normally.
Yes.
I think with an increased player count, that might be a little bit stressful for the servers. I want to see
what happens.
I'd like to see them try. I think PTU maybe as a test.
Oh god, yeah. But I suppose the thing is that if they go, well, actually, if there's 100 players, well, we might need to scale the difficulty up for the fleet battles and stuff.
Yeah.
And that means, well, that could probably cause problems just with the amount of entities and NPCs going on.
Because you either have to increase the difficulty of the AI or just stick more AI in there. I suppose,
yeah, you could give them better loadouts and better ships, potentially as well.
Yeah.
Less, but big ships. Maybe, ? Yeah, I want to see Xenothreat again. I don't know if it's Siege of Orison or Xenothreat as my favourite event. It's one of those two for sure.
Siege of Orison.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm
glad you really enjoy that. I like the fleet battle, the second major part of Xenothreat. Like, I think that is a really good laugh. But I suppose Siege of Orison, everyone participates much more, and it's quite easily accessible. And it's on the ground. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. It's good.
I feel like the Siege of Orison is a bit more of a group. You feel like you're more part of something, whereas with the fleet battle, it's very easy just to come in solo, do your own sort of thing, and then GG, you won, and you go away again.
Well, I think actually that's partly, and something that Cloud Imperium need to solve, is the jousting and the fast nature of ship combat at quite long ranges, because you don't necessarily feel like you're in that group because you can't see the combat affecting you beyond the one target that you've got. But if you could see a fleet battle and you could see that, well, actually, there's a load of ships nearby engaging this one ship, and I need to, if they sort of slowed this down a bit and it was less jousty, I think you would feel more part of a group.
Yeah.
But you're totally right with Siege of Orison. Like, there's loads of little tweaks there. Again, like with the player identification markers or friendly identification markers when you're in an FPS mission now. And that's so useful. Makes you feel part of a group. You can run over to go say, hello, guys, come and help me. Or you can see that someone's just been shot down and like needs healing. Like my good friend Zin here, who constantly got shot in the head last time we played. For some reason, that was sort of like magnetic. Also, turning your back on the enemy to go, monkey, hello.
Hey, Zin, look at this buggy.
Yeah, that's my bad when it distracted you. So it's not all joy with 3.17.2 either. Like, there are still bugs, but those bugs are typically pretty erratic rather than constant. So it does make some play prohibitive for some people sometimes. It's annoying. It happens. Like elevators occasionally broken in some areas, which is really annoying. Cloud Imperium really need to solve that issue. I would rather elevators act as teleporters than be occasionally broken. It's just sort of annoying. It'd be fine if there was also a staircase to get to these areas, but there's not in a lot of situations.
I think it might be because the scale, essentially, because they are kind of making it realistic. Like, the elevators do move through the terrain, as it were. Like you say, it's not a teleporter. But so stairs, it'd be like that bit in Final Fantasy VII when you're hitting the Shinra Tower.
We're just going for ages.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that's a fair point. And they want physicalized elevators. I just think that that's fine if they work.
Yes.
3.17.2 is the best patch we've had in terms of stability and bugs being fixed, at least in my opinion. Oh, actually, the other thing is that with these bugs and these problems, Cloud Imperium appear to be able to just hotfix them now. Just they can drop fixes in, mostly server-side stuff, minor things they can do pretty easily now without any form of client-facing patch, which is quite nice. However, Zin, let's talk about Stipend Gate or Millionaire Gate. That's Hey Google, what is stipend?
According to Wikipedia, a stipend is a regular fixed sum of money paid for services or to defray expenses, such as for scholarship, internship, or apprenticeship.
Oh, so they gave us some money. Stipend means they gave us some money. Why did Cloud Imperium give people money for 3.17.2 going live? Well, that's because they wiped everything. They did a big persistence wipe.
Not everything.
That's true. It's not everything.
Reputation was kept.
Reputation was kept. Anything that you have that's a promotional item or bought with real money is kept. But anything that you sort of like had earned in game gets wiped because they needed to wipe it for reasons. Typically, it's because they need to clear out the databases or they want to get some more testing data or because problems, lots of different reasons. Cloud Imperium went, have some money. They gave people 10 to 100 times more money than they were supposed to. So, and this was based on the amount of time that you played in Star Citizen now for 3.17.1, the previous patch. So people got loads of money. Now, what do you think Cloud Imperium should do after they've given everyone loads of money, even if it's too much? Then, what would you say they should have done?
Put more kiosks in at New Deal.
So more people can buy ships.
Because apparently there was a queue at New Deal while people were trying to buy ships.
Yeah. So lots of people went, "Oh, I'm rich. Let's go buy a ship or ships." Or big ships, because some people had hundreds and hundreds of millions, whereas people that played just a little bit, like maybe a few dozen hours throughout 3.17.1 had, well, still like 10, 20 mil, which is quite a lot of money. Great, yeah? People are rich, they're buying stuff, cool. Now, CIG decided that, we need to rectify this because this was done in error. We need to take that money away. So they basically said, look, we're going to have to remove basically a factor of 10 off that, and we'll sort that out our side. So when you check your wallets, you're going to have 10 times less or even less than that, and you'll have to deal with that when you sort of log back on. However, if you had already spent the money, we might let you keep some or most of it, of the ships and stuff that you bought, unless it was excessive, in which case if you bought like 10 hammerheads, we'd get rid of 9 of those hammerheads. But we will audit accounts potentially to make sure that nothing's gone awry or weird. What do you think of that as a resolution?
That's very weird.
It is weird, isn't it? They went, people have had it for like a day or two. but now we need to rectify it. And well, if you spent the money, good on you. You get to keep that. But if you didn't, well, we're going to get rid of the money, and now people have got a very small stipend, so like tens of thousands out of UEC, maybe a few million if they played quite a bit. And it just caused a lot of drama in the community, a lot of grumpy people, because they were like, well, you haven't given us very much money at all. You've let people that had loads of money, that spent it, basically get away with that. So that's unfairly distributed now. And what's the problem with everyone being super rich for a patch cycle? It is all going to be just wiped again in Alpha 3.18. So Cloud Imperium have confirmed that. And I didn't understand why Cloud Imperium did it.
I can only assume that they wanted to test something, and this was actually detrimental to that testing.
Yeah, that's probably true. They probably also want to see what players do when they grind up to get stuff. I would have quite liked to see how the economy and players handled being able to test and try out a load of new ships that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Yeah. I'm also a bit confused as to why they went, this is a good idea in the first place, and then went, actually, no, it's not a good idea. Like, because some people got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Did they just come up with an idea and not actually think about how it would be affected by certain factors?
Oh no! So there was two problems with it. So they basically got it. They effectively missed a decimal point.
So they literally messed up.
They messed up. So there was a problem with the rate at which it was awarding it per minute. So it was supposed. So they had the times off on that. And then they had miscalculated the percentage of that as well. So it was off for two different major reasons, and that compounded that people got lots of money.
Maybe they should have just done another wipe and gone, right, sorry, we're going to start again.
Yeah, maybe. So, I mean, I think another option was they should have never have offered the stipend.
Yeah, but that's hindsight, isn't it?
That is hindsight, yes. It's caused way more trouble than it's worth. And lots of grumpy people that would not have been grumpy, that would not have been annoyed had they'd rather just not had anything. I think one of the reasons that maybe Cloud Imperium are wanting to see people have less money rather than more money in game to start with is because they want to incentivize people to play, and a lot of people think, myself included, that actually grinding for money is an incentive to play for at least a lot of people, at least for long periods of time. You could obviously see that the total opposite route. Well, actually, I'm more likely to play if I'm in the ship that I want to play with because I feel more invested. And yeah, there's an argument for that as well. However, this is not the end of stipend gates in.
No.
They then went, everyone have $1 million out for your UEC, regardless if you played in Alpha 3.17.1, we're sorry. And everyone is now a millionaire.
Cool.
Which led to really interesting titles from me saying, everyone's really poor in Star Citizen now, to the next day having, everyone's a millionaire. Yeah, it was a bit weird and flip-floppy. It's a learning experience for Cloud Imperium. They want to incentivize their community to play. I don't think it's because they're trying to get people to buy ships. I literally don't. The people that did the best out of it were people that played hundreds of hours anyway and have bought lots of ships anyway. And people having ships for a single patch cycle is more likely to make them buy a ship in the future. Because they go, you know what, I really love this ship. At least in my opinion. I did see a lot of people saying, well, Cloud Imperium just taking this stuff away just because it affects their bottom line. I don't think it does. Maybe it affects the amount of hours that people play, but I actually think that them not doing a stipend at all or letting everyone be super rich was actually probably fine.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see really the problem of essentially rewarding the people who had played for lots of hours.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think the only reason why they've gone back on what they did is because it would have just messed with their data.
I really want to see players starting the game during alpha, during testing in the persistent universe on the live builds, with at least like $250,000, $500,000 alpha UC. Just give some players some starting money. Just give them a little bit of starting money. What they're going to do is buy some armor and then lose the ship that they bought.
An incentive for becoming a citizen.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a starter mission or something like that then awards a load of money just for and this is your starting money for this patch.
What, you mean like some sort of tutorial?
Like some sort of tutorial. I mean, heaven forbid. So, some other stuff. Cloud Imperium have been giving out surprise ship rewards for something I actually think is really fantastic, which is people that use the issue council and reported on lots of different things. Lots of people have just been awarded free ships because they appreciate the people that were testing for hundreds of hours or had the most confirmed reports or were updating their reports the most. So people that were really concise in using the issue council properly, that were really helping the testing, they've got rewarded, and there's loads of them. I'm hoping that incentivizes people to help more with Alpha 3.18 testing because that patch is going to be hellish for Eva Carty in the first few weeks. Let's move on. Let's move on to this. So Alpha 3.18, that is supposed to start testing soon. So sort of Cloud Imperium have implied that that's going to be testing soon. They haven't given it any dates yet or anything. We know that it's going to be in the testing phase for 2 to 3 months at least. And we don't know what percentage of that's going to be Eva Carty tested, but I would expect a good portion of it. Me and Zin won't be able to talk about the specifics of that patch during Eva Carty phase, unfortunately. We won't be able to cover content that Cloud Imperium have basically gone, this is fine to cover, or that they've talked about. But those big ticket items, salvage, cargo, persistent entity streaming, I can't even say it, persistent entity streaming, the steps towards sort of server meshing. Now, 3.18, Zin, what features are you sort of looking forward to? What do you think's juicy in that patch?
I don't think I'm really looking forward to anything in particular.
Okay.
Because a lot of it it's technical, really, isn't it?
Well, persistent entity streaming, yes. The cargo refactor, we don't know exactly what we're getting with the cargo refactor in 3.18. We know it's big, we know it's important, and we don't know how much of it's back end. I suppose the really tangible gameplay thing for 3.18, salvage.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be good, hopefully. If it's good, it'll be good.
Well, yeah. I mean, it should make the Vulture flyable and usable in-game for hull stripping. We think that Cloud Imperium are also making the turrets on the Reclaimer also hull strip. There's going to be hand salvage and there's going to be hand repair with the materials that you get with salvage. So you'll be able to repair holes in hulls.
Yeah.
Which means there needs to be a reason to repair holes in hulls. So does it just increase the HP of that area? Question mark. Probably. Maybe. When do you think that we might see 3.18 starting testing? Do you think Cloud Imperium are going to be waiting a week or two to sort of like catch their breath with 3.17.2 and make sure they've got an appropriate sort of test branch? Or do you think they could be close to ready now? Or do you think it's going to be next month because it's going to be a while?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to think that they're close to ready now, but they'll probably hold for a week or two just to make sure that 3.17.2 is working good.
Yeah, I suppose we've got those events as well, haven't we? We've got the Jump Down the Siege of Orison running.
I mean, obviously they have different departments that deal with different things, but it's probably a case of everybody focus on this at the moment. Once we know that's good and we can just sort of let it run its course and have less people looking after it, we'll start the Eva Carty testing. Yeah,
I'm of a similar opinion. We don't know for sure when 3.18 is going to start testing. We know it's supposed to be soon. That could mean this week. It could mean in a month. And it's possible that they will not have a 3.19 by the end of the year. I think they might do like a 3.18.1 or 3.18.2 or something. Like, there's so much going on. And they want to get 4.0 into testing by the end of the year for Eva Carty, potentially, although it's much more likely to be early next year rather than end of this year. They're speeding up with development, but they can't fit all the stuff they want to get into all the patches with the amount of testing they need to also get done. And these big ticket items. Interestingly, 3.17.2 feels like it should have been this very small patch to tide it over.
Well, they made it out that it was going to be a pretty small patch, but we do appear to have quite a juicy amount of stuff going on.
Yeah. Under promise, over deliver.
That's always good, isn't it?
Yes, it would be. But here on the BoredGamer channel, we under deliver and under promise. So the best of both worlds. It's an interesting one. I'm really looking forward to 3.18. There could be problems with it. There could be... We don't know what the end of the year holds yet. Hopefully we'll get some good roadmap updates in the next few weeks, and then we can sort of work out what other content 3.18 could hold. Because, it's supposed to have salvage, cargo, refactor, and persistent entity streaming, but there could be a load of other content in there. So it looks like one of the plans for 3.18 as well is to put the River Tech on multiple planets as well. and more rivers, more than just one Microtech river. That'll be awesome. So are we going to see other improvements to a load of other stuff? Almost certainly. Are we going to see more missions? Are we going to see more features and content? Probably. I do think there's a bit of a problem where Cloud Imperium need to make sure that they don't overpack the patch, because then it will just be in testing for far too long. And there's going to be far too many problems with... Because, okay, persistent entity streaming, really sort of important towards server meshing and a load of the sort of having the game properly persistent. However, are these items going to stay on the server in the first iteration that they're on? So I drop a hula doll on a planet, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is that now locked to the server or to my shard? Is sharding coming here as well? So will it be loaded out when I log off? And then when I log back on, will it come online with me? Or will I just be put on back on the same server if possible, and the servers are regenerative and save data properly? Because it looks like the server's going to be saving all this data properly now. It's a bit complicated, or at least confusing to me, exactly what we're getting for persistent entity streaming in this iteration of it.
Who knows?
Who knows? Not me. 3.18 testing soon. August should be quite a busy month. We've got Ship Showdown. What's your favourite ships in? What's your favourite flyable ship?
Probably the Cutty Red.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love the Cutty Red. I love the Cutty Blue. Mercury Star Runner's still got my is still my favourite. That's what I'll be voting on.
If I'm going to do something with someone else, then yeah, I'll probably take the Mercury Star Runner. But if I'm just like, I need a ship, I need to go somewhere on my own, I will probably just jump in my Cutty Red. Cutty
Red and Cutty Blue, beautiful ships. So yeah, we've got the Ship Showdown. People vote on the ships they like. Cloud Imperium, pair them up against each other. The top 4 ships at the end of that get skins made for them at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, typically. Some free little loots and bits and bobs for that for people that own those ships. Last year we had Xenothreat Returns, the sort of 2.0 version of Xenothreat in August. So I'm thinking we might see Xenothreat 4.0 now. I'd love to see it in 3.17.2, especially with the improvements. Hopefully they'll fix some of the shield hole problems, because there are some desyncy tech problems, unfortunately, at the moment. But as I said, Star Citizen 3.17.2 is still the most playable version of Star Citizen I've ever played, pretty much. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of August. Me and Zin are going to be playing lots of Star Citizen this time and getting a load of gameplay footage and gameplay videos up. So if you've got any suggestions for stuff that you want us to cover, chuck it in the comments below. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. Appreciate it. As I said, chuck comments down below. Give us feedback. Tell us what you want to see. We love you loads. Thanks for watching. Bye. You're on a plane. It's about to crash. Maybe you're in a jungle and a vicious predator attacks. There's a nuclear war and you're caught short on the toilet. You're drowning in shark-infested waters. How did you get here? What do all these scenarios have in common? That's right. Easily preventable with the use of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It's like the ultimate survival toolkit, but to aid in internet security and accessibility. Now I can watch my favourite Netflix and anime shows from a different country while I'm lost in the rainforest just before a tiger eats me. Thanks, nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. You can get discounts by using the links below. But please note that probably in the case of a plane crash or, you're drowning, NordVPN might not be the most effective solution. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway. This month we're giving away an RSI Scorpius heavy fighter. This 2-seater powerful heavy fighter allows you to pretend you're in Star Wars with your X-Wing. It comes with a lifetime insurance and access to Star Citizen, so even if you haven't got a Star Citizen account already, you can play the game. To be in for a chance of winning that, just comment on any of my videos made during August. A massive thank you to everyone that subscribed to the channel or just watches my content or comments and likes and shares those videos. It really genuinely does help. And if you want to go the extra mile to help support the channel, you can click on the join button under any of my videos or click on the links to Patreon. It all goes a huge way to help the channel grow and expand. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great time in Alpha 3.17.2 and I hope to see you in the verse.